Steve Irwin is one of the world's most beloved conservationists. Using his insatiable energy and charisma, he was able to turn an entire generation of children onto conservationism and a love for wildlife. While Steve Irwin himself is irreplaceable, some of the techniques that he uses, you can use yourself to energize a room and create positive energy. However, for you to get the most out of this video, I now have to talk about the idea of pre-selection. Pre-selection is the idea that your position has already been established before you walk into a room. A good example of this is someone like Will Smith. When he walks into a room, you expect him to be smiley, tell a lot of stories, and maybe slightly over the top. People's perceptions of him are already established. My point here being, if you walk into a room with an Australian accent, copying Steve Irwin exactly, you won't get the same results. Whilst you could use some of his techniques, you need to calibrate it to your style. But without further ado, let's get straight into analysing this clip of Steve Irwin. And what I want to look at first is the techniques that Steve Irwin uses when he enters a room.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Irwin!
So instantly the first thing he does is he makes his physiology very big. This process is called incantation, and is a technique that many public speakers use before they go on to speak. The theory relies on reverse engineering. When we feel good, our movements will naturally be bigger and slower, and hence we can reverse engineer that. So we move bigger and then we feel better. Steve then does three things when he goes to shake the hand of the interviewer, Frank Skinner. First of all, look at that smile. He's immediately showing Frank that he's happy to be there and happy to see him. And honestly, how can you not smile at someone who smiles at you like that? A smile is so simple to do, and yet so many people forget to do it when they're meeting new people. Second thing he does is he makes direct eye contact with Frank. It shows that his attention is on him and that he's interested. Third thing that Steve is doing is he's offering his hand. Getting this initial physical contact is great for building trust and building rapport. It's also a great way of setting the tone for any interaction you're going to have. Notice that when he makes a physical contact, he maintains the eye contact. Next, I want to look at what Steve does when he's in conversation with Frank Skinner.
I love you, Steve.
It sounds like it, mate.
Have you come straight from work?
I have. I changed, though. I had a shower and I got changed into my, all spruced up khakis. These are like straight out of the wrapper.
When Steve first starts talking, he's very loud, but not in an obnoxious way. In the way that he just intends to be heard.
And it's good because it means I recognise you straight away because I thought, yeah, that'll be him. What kind of snake was that, Steve?
That was a reticulated python. You know, they grow to be the largest... What's so funny about that?
Oh, no idea.
It's a reticulated python. They grow to be the largest or longest snake in the world. And they're grumpy, as you can see, really grumpy. And those teeth, mate, when the second time it bit me, it went straight into the bone too. You know, their teeth are really long and recurved, designed to catch and kill, you know, like furry mammals or feathery birds. So they got really long teeth.
Notice here how Steve is effectively telling the story with his voice. For example, he's extending certain words like largest and long. This helps make the audience be engaged and interested, but it also displays the passion for what he's talking about. He's also using a lot of hand gestures, which prints a picture in people's minds and therefore makes his point clearer.
Hey.
You see, I thought pythons squeezed.
They do. But, you know, so I got whacked by a big reticulated python once before, and what they do is they hit and then they coil all around the victim and squeeze the air right out of it. So here's how they kill their prey, mate. So they whack, coil, and then as you breathe out, they tighten up. So your next breath is shorter and shorter and shorter until you can't breathe, then you cark it.
Notice here that Steve is engaging his full body when he talks. You could tell the story just from looking at his facial expressions. Again, to really hammer the point home, look how he's using his voice. He's varying his tone, he's varying his volume, and this is what makes him so interesting to listen to.
And that's how pythons kill their food.
So have you got lots of... What's your best scar? Have you got some good scars?
Oh, I got a cut. You know, I got one, like, on the inside of my leg here, there. That's not that big, but, go on there.
Oh, that's quite a good
Yeah.
one.
Oh, probably this one.
What is that one from?
Oh, mate, hideous injury. Fin shot from a surfboard.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it wasn't even a crocodile. But I got this one. Cut my shoulder off here.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, can we just see that again? It looks like it's nearly separated the whole
Yeah,
arm.
they had to cut my shoulder off a couple of times, cut an inch of clavicle off. There was this crocodile that I wanted to catch, sitting there, and I had to catch it because everyone was trying to shoot it. They wanted it dead. It was about a 5-footer. Anyway, so we'll go out at night with a spotlight, and I picked up its eye shine, and I was on my own. So I put the spotlight in this little stick that I had on the boat, and kept the spotlight on it, driving up in the boat, and it was only me and my dog, and just speared off the front of the boat, and I didn't know it because the water was dirty. The croc was sitting on a rock, so I've just gone crack, and it just smashed all the bone in my shoulder. I got the croc, I might add.
Again, through years of TV work, Steve has perfected pacing. Certain sentences are said slowly to build tension, whilst others are used very quickly to create a sense of drama.
This is my best one.
Oh, not bad, mate, not bad.
Yeah. That's actually a Danish pastry. It isn't real. It's makeup. I just thought Steve would be so macho. I need a scarf from somewhere.
That would be. I'd stitch that.
We'll be back in a moment with more from Steve Irwin. Welcome back. Now, your TV shows are massively, massively popular.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And you've obviously become a big star. You're even an action figure.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, that's the 6-inch version.
Yeah. No, I like that. And that talks as well. Yeah. That's great. And it feels to me like you live on camera now, Steve. Almost everything gets filmed.
Yeah, pretty well.
Now,
Yeah.
we've got a clip just to show that sometimes when you're filming animals, it's not as straightforward as it might.
I've paused it here just to make my final point. Look at how Steve is sat. Look at his body language. He's engaged, and he's doing a thing called active listening. Using his body, he's showing Frank Skinner that he's fully concentrating on what he's saying, and as such can respond accurately to it. Often when people want to improve their charisma, they completely forget to listen to the other person. And hence, the result is they become completely stuck in their head, constantly trying to think of the coolest thing to say. So my advice to anyone that wants to be more charismatic is to listen to the other person and encourage them to speak.
Scene, look at this.
So I hope you all enjoyed that short breakdown of Steve Irwin. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and leave a comment with any suggestions of stuff that you'd like to see. Currently I have 3 more videos planned, one to do with lie detection, one to do with persuasion secrets, and the third one covering debating strategy. Also feel free to check out my other 2 videos on golden balls and lie detection, and how to debate like Ben Shapiro. So yeah, please remember to like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.